One of the questions that a number of people have asked me, and I'll chime in after you do, but and a couple people even brought it up in this session, was what we collectively think about the Eddie Gallagher situation. Who, for those that are listening that haven't heard of it, he's a SEAL, active duty, being brought up on war crimes basically, and has had some pretty shitty pretrial confinement issues and. A lot of kind of tit for tat between the prosecutors and, fucked up evidence and, lies of people who are testifying against, all this other shit. Are you familiar with that, A? And B, do you have an opinion on what the deal is with that?
I'm familiar with it, very familiar. I think that, man, it always sucks when the guys you go to combat with or war with, decide to do something to you to fuck up what you have going on, I look at it now, I just look at things different, man, and I'm not going to be I'm always going to be, if you want to call it the Reaper or have that legacy or whatever behind me, but that's not always going to be me. Eddie could have gotten out and 20 years from now been at a law firm, or who knows what, a school teacher at a kindergarten, I don't know. You know what I mean? But what we did overseas and the things that the accolades that we accomplished and all the cool things that we did, will it means so much 50 years from now? On my deathbed, will the same guys that I deploy with be there? We all have our own path in life and we all move on. And I think people get caught up in a moment and the hype of certain things, and they want to see something happen to somebody that, they're willing to take whatever extent it is to, see that person fall. And on the flip side of that, when you look at a place such as war, that environment, dude, to say anything is bad is weird to me. I think that it's even worse when the guys that are making these accusations, it's almost like, did we forget what happened when we watched people burning on fire, free falling from twin towers? Yeah. I don't remember too many people saying, oh, well, we should play it nice with them for a little bit. You can go back on the comment section or on social media where it was like, turn the Middle East to glass and let's nuke them and do all that. If you're willing to go through that extent to level a place with a nuke or bomb the hell out of it, you're going to say these little kids and everyone else that are going to die, they don't matter. But what this guy did in combat under the heat of the moment, who's been trained to do one specific thing really, really well, you're going to punish him for that. It's weird to me.
Well, yeah, I agree. To me, and this is officially my take, because I've obviously, being a SEAL and having the podcast and a lot of guests on, and we've even talked a little bit with some family members of trying to get them on and whatever. Is that here is my position? Because I've been asked a number of times and have refrained. There's a reason I've refrained, and I'll go into that first. And then tell you my thoughts after. The reason I have not really said much is because I don't fucking know. The reality is that I don't know Eddie, and I wasn't there. Because of that, I typically like to refrain from judgment, and I wish most people would fucking do that. Is reserve your opinion on what you think happened, because you don't know the motherfucker. You weren't there. You don't know if the accusations are correct. You don't know if it's somebody that's out to get him. You don't know that if he did something wrong. I don't fucking know. And so I'm not going to sit here and take one extreme position or the other. Now, having said that, do I have my own personal feelings? Yeah, and I'll share them a little bit because I was asked, and that kind of dovetailing onto what you said in terms of how are there rules in war, is that to me, we have an all-volunteer fighting force. And those people that make it through the selection processes that are entailed as it relates to especially special operations units, it's very difficult. It's very selective, high attrition rates, cream of the crop. The training, years of high-level, expensive, subject matter expert-driven training. We're put in dangerous, chaotic, dynamic, difficult fucking decisions by our policymakers and expected to do our best. To me, while I'm not saying you can turn into a fucking Viking marauder, I also would ascertain that you ought to be given a goddamn benefit of the doubt in terms of saying, you know, hey, shit happens, and sometimes mistakes are made, or the wrong people get fucking killed, or whatever. But to me, it's escaping a blame, no different than when, you know, these same types of people who are on the side of let's fry this guy are the people who would say let's fry gun companies when somebody walks into a fucking school and shoots the place up. Is that there's a lot of inconsistency with the way that they are outraged on some things and turn a blind eye to the others. And to me, bottom line is that, you know, don't send our guys to war if you don't want bad shit to happen. It's going to happen, you know, and when you're fighting an enemy that, you know, and I've looked, you know, loosely at the accusations, and I try not to get too involved in it because, again, I don't know the guy and I wasn't there. It's frankly none of my fucking business. Is that, you know, there is an element of, you know, civilians being used and women and children. And, you know, when you're fighting an enemy that's not wearing a uniform, that recruits children to put a fucking a vest on and walk into a fucking checkpoint, and a 7-year-old blows themselves up. You know, for the love of fuck, like, don't expect guys to be Boy Scouts walking around being able to deal with that. You know, and to me, what irritates me is two things: is the rush to judgment on a lot of people's parts.
The fact that there's sides gets me.
Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be.
Sides, yeah.
But, you know, the biggest heartburn I have with the whole thing is the pretrial confinement conditions. Is that it sounds like he's been really fucked over in terms of how he's being kept. And to me, if, you know, for all the accusations, whatever they are, that does not mean that he's guilty. Innocent. You know, and if they're innocent until proven guilty, why is he being treated like a fucking criminal right now? I think that's an outrage, especially given the amount of service that he's sacrificed and put his family and himself through. He's done a shit ton of deployments. One of the other, and that's all I'm going to say on it. That is my take. But and one of the questions in conjunction with that was, how many deployments are too many?
Ooh, the most I've ever heard was from a guy in my unit. He did 14 deployments. He ended up dying on his 14th. I did 6. My spotter did 9. Dude, what is too much?
I think it's person to person. You know?
It is, yeah. I would say it depends on what your psyche can handle. For me, 6 was about good for me. After my last deployment, I wanted no part for a while, you know, with war. And for my unit, it's every 6 months we would deploy. So I needed a little bit longer than 6 months. I knew I wasn't right mentally. I had seen something for the first time that, hey, I thought I was going to make it clean through, have an epic deployment, career in the Army, and never see the devastation of you know, our guys being, you know, shot right in front of me and stuff like that. And I was, you know, pretty much burnt out after that. Not so much burnt out, more just so needed time to process things. You know what I mean? That time wasn't, you know, in my favor, so it was I had to change of lifestyle, which was for me to get out. And the Army at the time was changing the laws and how people were being treated. When I was getting in, it was like old school. I'm not going to say old school. We weren't getting beat and stuff like that, but it was different. You know what I mean? And the guys that are coming in now, it's a little bit more, oh, well, we have to appease to your, you know, your needs and make sure we're not yelling at you so much and stuff like that.
Kindler, fucking gentler.
Exactly. Yeah. And that really started to chap my ass, like, as I was getting out. And it's like, what is this? And the new guys were a little bit disrespectful, you know, coming in. Yeah. I wasn't so much, I would fuck with the new guys. Like, if they were coming in on a deployment, you know, I'd walk past the room after a mission and, you know, chime in and say, hey, did you guys save the world today? No, I did. And then leave just to be a dick. But it was just, you know, to joke around and stuff. But it got to the point to where the guys would come in and kind of like, I don't care if you did X, Y, and Z deployments or what you've done. I'm a new guy and I'm here to play Rainbow Six, you know, in real life. And I didn't get that. You know, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I wasn't ready for that change and just saw things different, you know. But for me, 6 deployments was too much. I could have done more but dude, for me, it was like, when is that card going to get pulled, you know?
Yeah.
It was like death was right there, and I didn't like it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's, you know, some guys do one and that's all they can do, and other guys fucking 19 deployments
I
later.
know,
You know,
right?
it's just, yeah, I think it.
I look at those guys like, dude, you're a bad motherfucker, right?
I think there's so many variables that enter into that equation that there isn't a. I mean, each individual has their right answer for what makes sense for them.